Recently, Leah Thompson won a swimming competition, but many believe her victory is not valid. Why do people believe that Leah Thompson's victory is not valid? Because she is a trans woman, which brings us to today's video's topic. Should trans athletes participate in the sports group that aligns with their gender identity? According to this chart, 57% of people that took a survey believe that trans athletes should compete, while 43% believe that trans people should not compete. How would this affect people? The short and sweet answer: it wouldn't affect such people as long as trans athletes take hormones. The group of people it affect would be trans people, allowing them to have more valid representation in society as their desired gender. Now let's ask people on what their stance is and why should they do it. So, what's your political stance? Like, are you Democratic? Are you Republican? Are you just in the middle?
Last semester, and I think it was all of those are. We're just stay in the middle.
You're both in the middle? Okay. What is your like view on transgender people competing in athletics? I kind of agree with that. And then, well, you already gave me this, but the last question was why, but you already answered that, so we're good. First question is, what's your like political stance? Like, where would you say you are in the political stance?
I'm like fairly moderate.
So like, all you guys are kind of like more in the middle?
I'm like a little more
Okay. Second question, what's your views on transgender athletes?
support them. Yeah, they should be able to. They should be able to. They should be able to
play
compete
with their
with the gender
gender.
that they identify
Yeah.
as.
Okay, and then why do you think that they should be able to?
They're humans, they're equal. Nothing changed, just their
If
gender.
they identify as a girl or a boy, they should be playing
Yeah.
as a boy or a girl.
And I feel like, because a lot of people are like, oh, but there's like a difference in like a body type, and it's like like hormones or like
Well,
surgery, but then it's also
I mean, I personally believe that they should be able to compete if they're on hormones, because then that'll put them at a fair ground. Like,
I mean, it's their choice if they want to do it.
yeah.
I don't have a lot of research on it, but like my first like instinctive thought is just like, yeah, let them.
Okay. First of all, what's your political stance, just for the record?
For the record,
Yeah.
my political stance is none of anyone else's business but my own.
So I'm just going to put you in like the middle, like sort of there. And what's your views on transgender people competing in?
Oh, we talked about this the other day, didn't we?
Yeah.
Hold on just a sec.
Yeah. I kind of liked your view of it. That's why I wanted to sort of put it on record.
Okay, so my stance on LGBTQ people competing?
On specifically transgender people competing in sports. So transgender athletes.
I don't really have an opinion either way. I feel like they should be able to. If they choose to compete, they should be able to compete.
And why do you think that? Just because of human stuff, or?
Well, yeah, because, who cares if they're LGBTQ, whatever their sexual preferences or however they identify shouldn't have any problem or any, I guess, bearing on
First things first. What's your political stance? Are you Republican? Are you Democratic? So just sort of in the middle.
Yeah, basically.
So everyone just sort of in the middle. Okay. What's your views on transgender people competing in sports? So transgender athletes.
I don't really care. I don't mind.
And why don't you care?
Because, I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. I just want to have fun. So sports are fun.
Well, I'm like talking about like professional like
Professional?
sports. Like
I wouldn't mind.
you still wouldn't mind? Thank you. So, starting again. What's your political stance?
Somewhere in between democracy, like a Democrat, but also anarchy.
So kind of in the middle of a Democrat and a Republican.
No, an anarchist.
Uh,
Like I just
Okay.
want chaos. I don't want to world.
so you just want chaos. So what's your preference on transgender athletes? Do you think that they should compete in sports?
Yeah.
And why do you think that? Like, what's your reasoning?
Because of the treatments for the shit they're getting done to their body, it just makes them more and more like what they're trying to be,
Yeah.
what they are. Like, a transgender woman is a man.
So transgender woman is a woman and transgender man is a man. Like that. Like those are the most similar.
So I don't get why they wouldn't be able to compete.
Okay. That was the most straightforward answer ever. Thank you for that. Okay, so first question, where is your political stance? Are you Democratic? Are you Republican? Are you just sort of in the middle? So you're just kind of more in the middle? Okay. What about you?
I'm more on the left side.
Okay.
So say like definitely. I don't know if I would align myself with that but I'm left leaning.
Okay. Second question. Do you think that transgender people should compete in sports that align with their gender identity? Yeah, so a trans girl should be in a girl sports.
Yeah, because I feel like it's really dysphoric to force them into the other sport.
Yeah, what about you?
I mean, it's really which whenever they want to do it. It's not really my call.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like sports is more than just, like I think the most important thing is they're just trying to have fun. So I agree with what they say.
And then you've already sort of given me the last question that I have, but his was kind of iffy, so I'm going to ask him again. Why do you think they should or should not?
It's their choice. I think that every person should be able to, even if they aren't a trans person, they should be able to make the choice if they want to switch into a different side. I say if a girl is good enough at wrestling, she should be able to wrestle guys. And I say if a guy is bad enough at wrestling or good enough, he should be able to wrestle girls.
Yeah.
I'm out in the front of the parking lot.
Okay, so what's your political stance?
I don't think I really have one. It just, like, I believe what I believe. There's no, like, set, like, this is all for everything I believe. I just, like, I believe what I believe.
Okay. What are your views on transgender athletes?
I think that while there might be actual true transgender athletes, a lot of the time transgender athletes are very moderate, very moderately good athletes, like usually male when they're going to female.
And what about female when they go to male?
I was fine with those because males, by their very nature, have more muscle mass, like starter muscle mass.
Yeah.
So if a female and a male both trained at the same amount, at like the same exact time, the male would be the stronger one, simply because like that's how males are built. So a moderate male transgender athlete could go into a female and get first place when they only got like 7th place in the male bracket.
So I like how saying transgender, like you are including like people that are actually transgender that got the hormones and everything, like the ones that like the hormones will hinder their ability, make them equal to girls, but with the actual, but like with the ones that don't really transition, they kind of have an upgrade since they don't really have those hormones, since they don't have the equal amount of hormones from it. So you're fine with transgender athletes going if they've taken hormones, if they have the same hormone level as everyone else.
Kind of yes, but also like, have you ever seen that meme where like, this is my friend Julie and look how strong she is, and like it's a picture of like a super muscular like wrestler dude?
Yeah.
Like, that's the epitome of kind of what people are doing. And it has been like, it's not like a fake thing, like it's been proven. People have been doing that.
Honestly, that's a pretty valid opinion. Current status and economic impact of transgender bill legislation. The political debate. 33 states have introduced over 100 bills related to transgender athlete participation across the country, calling 2021 a record-breaking year for such legislation. One of the nation's largest LGBTQ advocacy groups, at least 107 have introduced the current legislation session that target transgender community, and its highest number of organization has record since it's been tracking anti-LGBTQ legislation for more than 15 years ago. Companies and advocacy organizations taking a stand against signing a business statement opposing anti-LGBTQ state legislation, stating their clear opposition to harmful legislation aimed at restricting the access of LGBTQ people in society. Companies' objections to these bills include Amazon, Nike, American Airlines, Apple, AT&T, Airbnb, Dell, Facebook, Google, Hilton, IKEA, IBM, Microsoft, PayPal, Uber, Verizon, Ultra, Pentagon, and Pfizer. The Olympic Games, the fair stands from concern that female transgender athletes will retain male physiological advantages attributed to testosterone, and that affects testosterone supplementary enhanced male transgender athletes' performances. Transgender policy development in high-performance sport, the conceptualization of important terms is such as sport fairness treating. The Olympicization clarifies the ethical issues present, determining that if it is fair for transgender athletes to compete in the Olympic Games. The resulting analysis supports the argument that there's no reason to exclude transgender athletes from the Olympic Games, such as mutations. Moreover, this thesis demonstrates that a person's perspective on fairness of transgender athletes' inclusion is shaped by what one believes the goals of the Olympic Games ought to be.